every day. Makes me wanna holler, go away. I need more peace and hope and love. Where do I find it in this crazy old world? Need strategies, strategies for living radio. Your dose of radio rehab. Strategies for living radio. Every time I listen, Lauren and David share strategies for living, and it makes me aware. I got strategies for living, strategies for living radio. Your dose of radio rehab. Strategies for living radio. Your dose of radio rehab. Strategies for living
you know we need them. We need those strategies. Are you ready? You ready for your daily dose of radio rehab?
I am ready today. I'm excited.
I knew you would be. Hey, folks, welcome. Welcome into 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Welcome into another edition of Strategies for Living. I'm Dr. David McMillan. She is psychotherapist, PLPC Lauren Leon McMillan. You usually want to know what we're talking about in the program, right?
I mean, that comes in handy, yeah.
Yeah.
It's always nice to be on the update.
Zero.
No.
Yeah. We're talking about
Nada?
zero today. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Actually,
nothing?
No. It's far from nothing.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, it's the no.
Do tell.
Well, it's the law of zero, Lauren. And how many books and authors? We get books in all the time.
Yes.
How many books do you see me
with all those
highlighting?
Not very many.
Yeah.
So this is a huge compliment to
Chad Michael Hardy is the author, and he's with us today as our life strategist. And the law of zero is about awakening. It's the journey to awakening your authentic self. It's about unlocking. Now listen to this.
Listening.
Infinite power. And it's about taking control of your life. Does that sound...
That sounds right up my alley. I'm intrigued.
Well...
And important for all of us.
Yeah. Chad says that this is a zero hero's guide. It's a self-acceptance and personal empowerment.
Right.
And I found it... well, you saw me, so you know what I did.
Chad, I had to stop myself when I saw him open the book and start highlighting.
Do all of that highlighting stuff.
It's not very often.
I just don't do that.
No,
I don't do that. And so
I got curious.
We're coming back. We're coming back to meet our life strategist today. He is Chad Michael Hardy. We're coming back to talk about the law of zero. Folks, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you being here with us, and we appreciate our sponsors making it possible. The Robinson Film Center, and Azalea Cleaners, and Pintail Roofing, and Learning RX, and the Balanced Life Wellness Center, and Fertitta's Delicatessen, home of The Godfather, alligator, Italian sausage, and some pretty good muffies, too. Back in a moment to meet Chad Michael Hardy, our life strategist and the author of Law of Zero, today on Strategies for Living. Come back with us.
Tune in daily, find the light. Healthy mind and spirits bright. Strategies for living strong. Feel the vibe, it won't go wrong. Body moves and soul align. Catch the rhythm, feel the time. Radio rehab every day. Chase those clouds of gray away. Your daily dose of radio rehab. Lift you up when skies seem trapped. Mind and body, spirits free. Living life in harmony.
Hey, welcome in. Welcome into 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Welcome into Strategies for Living. Lauren Leon McMillan, David McMillan. Let's welcome into the program our life strategist, Chad Michael Hardy. Has a proven track record of building people up and bringing people together by producing community and corporate events. He's an award-winning entrepreneur. He founded the flourishing team-building company Adventure Games. And since his discovery of the law of zero, Chad has channeled the multitude of personal challenges and triumphs of his life into helping others find their authentic joy and their true self. And he's just not an entrepreneur, but he's an inspirational figure who empowers others to rediscover their true joy and purpose. He lives in between San Diego, California, and Orlando, Florida. Not bad places to live. Welcome, Chad Michael Hardy, to Strategies for Living.
Welcome.
Well, thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
So, actually, the book, The Law of Zero, actually starts at Disney, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah. What a story. Okay, so you're out there, you're celebrating, right? You're out there, you got the team out there, and you're having a blast, and then talk about everything changing in a moment. Talk about what happened, Chad.
Well, we were all there, and as we know, in March 2020, everybody's lives forever changed.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I, am in the business of team building, which happens in person.
Right.
And all of a sudden that got ripped out from underneath me. And nobody had any answers. We had no idea how long this was going to last. It could be permanent. Life could never go back to normal as we knew it. We didn't know, right? All of us were kind of just taking it one day at a time.
Right.
And so I did enjoy the time off. I'm not going to lie. It was great. It was eerie, but at the same time, wow, I don't have a single email or phone call to respond to, and I didn't feel guilty about it. Because normally, if I'm slacking, I have a little bit of that entrepreneurial guilt.
Yeah,
That's what I call it. And so, after about 3 months of this, I thought I can't go on living like this. I got to do something. And in the meantime, I was writing this book. It was kind of unfolding as all of this was unfolding, and I decided that I think I can reimagine my business as being in person to online. And so I gave that some thought, and I started looking into the Zoom platform. I should have also put all my money on that stock.
Yeah, really?
At the time.
Really?
And started realizing that I could actually take some programs that I have and be able to present them through Zoom. And so a couple trial runs, we sent out an email blast to all of our clients to experience a demo. And of course, this was such a foreign concept, and most people didn't use these tools to connect virtually. And next thing you knew, I became an expert at it, and we started hosting our team building programs virtual.
Right.
And we blew up. It was overnight sensation, really. We had to get all of our staff back on board and train them in this new world. And for a good solid year and a half, that's all we did. We just did remote team building programs, and it connected us with companies worldwide, where before it was just, here in the United States. So it was really cool how you can, take, there's that old saying, take lemons, make lemonade, but I feel like it was beyond that. It was, we were able to really, it goes down to, and I look at the pandemic as, I had to give us humans some props. Like we're survivalists.
Yep.
Yeah.
We will figure out a way, and that we did, and that I did with the company. And now, we still offer those, virtual experiences, but we are mostly back to in person. But it was quite a wild ride to take something and morph it like that, and it actually worked.
Yeah. So you early on, even early on in the introduction to the book, you say, the truth is that no matter what is occurring, I'm quoting you now, no matter what was occurring around me, I was in control. Now, I don't want to get off in, and I'm not, we're not a political program or anything like that. We leave that for the other hours of the day on the station. But there's a lot of people wringing their hands right now, and have been for a long time, and talking about how chaotic the world is, how,
out of control, right.
Everything is. And here you are saying,
it's all in your control.
It didn't matter what was going on around me. I'm in control. I was in control. No matter what, I was whole, complete, and valued, and nothing could take that from me. Nothing could take away my power. And, I read those words, like I'm sure a lot of your readers do, and you say, oh, man, I love that. How do I get that? And then I read 0. So, okay. And I'm directly quoting you. Nothing could take away my power. I was connected to 0. All right.
Tell us that.
All right, help us here. Nothing could.
Let's reverse that.
Okay.
So if we give our power away, then we are connected to the source that is taking our power. If it be a toxic relationship, politics, we turn on the news, we listen to how crazy the world is, whatever we want to believe,
Right.
When we buy into those belief systems, when we buy into the chaos, we are giving our power to it. And so I decided during the pandemic that sure, the world was truly in chaos, but I don't have to give my power to it. I can get to quote 0, which is neutral.
Yeah. And
when we can untether ourselves from these what I call cyclones that come at us, because we live in a human world and we have human experiences, and we get someone cuts you off, and that could be the beginning of a very bad day, as you're driving down the highway.
Right.
It's all a choice.
Right.
And so you can choose to engage with it, or you can choose to disengage with it. I mean, even if you are in a situation where you feel like, you are helpless, or you're in a situation where you are truly out of control, you can still choose to how you are going to emotionally react to that situation, and not give your power to that.
Yep.
Did the idea of the law of 0, did that download to you, Chad? Did it bubble up from something that you had studied or read, from, previous years? Where did that come from?
It was purely a download. I don't have any other way. I joke with my friends that the aliens told me to write this book because I have
Maybe they did. Maybe they did.
Maybe I have no other explanation as to where it came from. The words were literally spoken to me like as if there's no different than when you're speaking to me now, and that sounds a little woo-woo. I get it.
No, it doesn't sound woo-woo to Lauren and I, because we were
in the right place.
we were on the way to work this morning, and Lauren begins her day every day with I don't know how to call it other than kind of
call it a channeling
writing and a journaling.
Yeah.
And the things that come through, we've kind of started calling it a bring through. And, the things that come through are sometimes just amazing, But we were talking about this morning, how it's a download, and
it comes too fast and from beyond me.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I suspect that's what happened with you.
So yes, I actually originally was talking to a friend who had driven down from Los Angeles, a couple of friends that came down to pretty much sit at my dining room table and tell me I need to finish writing my book, because I originally was writing a book about forgiveness. And we, went on Amazon and we typed in the title of my book, and somebody else had written it in the time that I started writing it and stopped writing it. There was about a 10-year window there.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I thought, I really don't want to write about forgiveness. I don't feel like that is what I'm supposed to write about. And I thought there's something bigger than it. What's on the other side of forgiveness?
Yeah.
What is it? And so later that night after they left, I was kind of just meditating. And that's when this voice spoke to me and said, it's called the law of zero.
Wow.
And I thought, and I'd never heard this before. So I got up and I opened up the search tab on the internet, and I put in law of zero, and there was nothing. There was just
zero.
Well, of course. It was zero. Of course.
Right.
We are talking to Chad Michael Hardy today. The book is called The Law of Zero. You are hearing how it all came to be. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to dive into some of what the law of zero. There's a lot of strategies in here. So we're going to talk about some of the strategies.
The law of zero contains it all.
Yeah, it really does. Chad Michael Hardy, our life strategist today, here on Strategies for Living. Stay with us. Lots more to learn. Lots more to come. Hey, let's talk about the Robinson Film Center. I say it a lot. There's no place like the Robinson.
Absolutely, there is not.
617 Texas Street, downtown Shreveport. You've got so much. You got the movies. You got Abby Singer's Bistro on the second floor of RFC, open for lunch and dinner Tuesday through Saturday.
Newly remodeled.
Absolutely. Great menu. RobinsonFilmCenter.org is the way you check it all out. You can go to RobinsonFilmCenter.org at any time and find out what movies are showing. Here's the deal. You want to join the crowd, join the fun, become a member. When you become a member, you become a star. You get discounts on movies, you get concession upgrades, you get bistro deals. RFC, 617 Texas Street in downtown Shreveport. I'll say it again. There's no place like the Robinson.
There is not, and I'm glad we have one right here.
Absolutely. The RobinsonFilmCenter.org.
Reading begins not in the classroom, but in your child's brain. I'm Donisa Walker with Learning RX Shreveport. If your child struggles to read, maybe he or she has trouble focusing or comprehending, Learning RX Shreveport offers a science solution to reading problems, working one-on-one with your child, targeting his or her reading skills. Today, call Learning RX Shreveport. Make an appointment to have your child assessed. I know you want to help your child, so does Learning RX Shreveport.
Life gets hard along the way. Gotta get through it day by day. We get strategies right here. Strategies for Living Radio. Our dose of radio rehab. Strategies for Living Radio.
And welcome back into Strategies for Living Radio. Here on 101.7 FM, 710 Keel, Lauren Leon McMillan, David McMillan. We are honored to have Chad Michael Hardy with us today. The book is called The Law of Zero. Great book. The journey to awakening your authentic self, unlocking your infinite power, and taking control of your life. Who doesn't want that, right? And of course, you can find the book wherever you buy books. And do you have a website that folks can visit, Chad?
Yes, I do. It's called lawofzerobook.com, and there's links in there to the different places you can pick that book up.
Wonderful.
Perfect.
Wonderful. All right, so the Law of Zero just kind of downloads to you, and of course, I guess you kind of had to get yourself out of the way, didn't you, for this all to kind of come through?
That's a really good way to put it. I did. And I still feel like even now the book is out, I still need to get out of its way because, the book is extremely personal. I share a lot of very personal stories.
Yes, you do.
To how I discovered this. And there's a part of me that has a little fear about sharing these stories and letting it out and putting it out there to the world. So I've been getting to zero myself with getting out of its way so this book can do what it is intended to do. And that's to help people heal their trauma and take control of their life.
Yeah. It's kind of the book is kind of, but I'm so happy that you decided to put the stories, the self-stories in. It's kind of a blend of a memoir and self-help and roadmap, if you would. That's the way I would personally describe it. But for me, Chad, I appreciated your stories, your sharing your own. Kudos for the courage that it took to share your own personal stories. So thank you for that.
Yeah, you're welcome. The result that I've seen because I'm so honest in my stories, I don't hold back, is that those who have read the book come and they share with me their stories, and they open up to me about things that they've never talked about. Even my own mother told me things that she has never told me after she read my book.
Wow.
And these are all things that it's all the awareness, right? And having that awareness and that courage to even share your own story is monumental.
Yeah. All right. So you talk about 5 entry points to zero. And so zero is just that place of surrender. But it's
how would you describe what zero is, first of all?
Yeah, I think before we go into the entry points of how we access it, we need to understand what it is.
Yeah.
So zero it's 2 things. It is a place and it is a state of being. So as a place, it's where all inspiration and all creation comes from. Yep. So if we want to talk biblically, in Genesis, God said, let there be light, and there was light. So what was there before light? There was just the idea of light.
Zero, yeah.
And so there was zero, right? Yeah. So, and I did a lot of research into a lot of ancient religions, and everything kind of points to this kind of sense of nirvana, like the nothingness, the void.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in that space of nothing is everything, because that's where everything comes from. It comes from nothing.
Yeah.
And all thoughts become things. So anything that's tangible in our human world that we created at one point was a human thought. Right. And so that place of where that inspiration comes from, that is zero. And then it is also a state because in order for us to truly access this creative power, we have to be in alignment with it, and we have to be untethered from anything that keeps us from creating. So it's really that kind of neutral balance that we need to find in our own lives so that we can control the outcome of where we go in our lives and the emotional control behind that.
Did I hear you correctly say just a moment ago, thoughts are things or thoughts become things? Did I hear you correctly?
You sure did.
Okay, so it reminded me, Lauren and I were having a conversation a couple of weeks ago. Yeah. You had met with a client, and you had said to the client, well, you're not your thoughts.
Yes.
And the client got pissed off.
Yeah, they were a little,
they were very pissed off. You know, what? Defensive. I'm not my thoughts. You're going to take my thoughts away from me?
Right.
And so, I think we need to talk a bit about that, because I think that client is representative of a lot of us. Yeah. Yeah. We
misidentify with our thoughts.
Yeah, and we so identify with our thinking that we hold on tightly, don't we, Chad?
Yeah, because, there are 2 kinds of truths in this world. There are what I call capital T truths. These are absolute truths, like the sun rises in the east and it sets in the west.
Okay.
We need oxygen to survive. Yep. Those are all capital T truths.
Yeah.
Lowercase truths are all of the things that we as humans have decided the way the world works. So these are our communities, our laws, our standards, what we think is right, what we think is wrong. Those are all
those are our
truths.
Those are our beliefs, right?
Correct. And all beliefs are lowercase truths because they're not based on actual facts. They're based on simply belief.
Yeah.
And so look no further than the American political divide, where I can honestly, truly, with a capital T truth, say that both sides are right and both sides are wrong.
Yeah.
It just depends on where you as an individual believe something to be true or not. But is it really, really true? Well, if not really, because it's not true for everybody, but it is true for everybody that sun rises in the east and sets in the west.
Yeah.
So going back to your client, he's in saying that, you're not your thoughts. Well, it's like, well, yeah, because your thoughts usually are riddled with a lot of lowercase truths based on the way that you were raised, the things that you experienced in life, that you've come to create what I call your human story code. And these are the building blocks that make up how you perceive the world and how you perceive yourself. And this is where all of these lowercase and uppercase truths are constantly in contradiction with each other. And so when we can learn to get to zero with all of this, with our truths, and have the awareness, we can start to get in touch with our authentic true self. And then these beliefs that we have, we realize that we've been tethered to our whole lives are not real. Right. It's like make believe.
Yeah.
It's like going to Disney. It's not real.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah. And again, it can all be very fun no matter what's swirling.
And it can feel very real.
It does feel very real. Yeah.
I was going to say, if we can really, truly get in alignment with our authentic true selves by taking ownership of the fact that we are not exactly how we think, or our thoughts are not necessarily our authentic true selves, and we can release these false truths, we can receive the truth of who we really are, and then we can engage our power and we can go after the things that are meant for us.
Right.
And there, just like that, I just gave you all the 5 entry points to zero.
Okay.
Oh, I love it. Okay, well let's go backwards and break that down, because
I hope you all got it, because that's it.
That's it. Have you taken notes? All right. So those 5 entry points: finding awareness, securing alignment, taking ownership, release to receive, and engage power. Now, folks, let me remind you, if you're traveling and you've run out of dust in your dashboard to take notes, okay, well, don't worry. You can always go and
we've got it'll be up on our Facebook page.
Yep.
Strategies for Living with David McMillan, YouTube Strategies for Living, and very, very, very soon podcast.
There you go. So you'll be able to access, and you don't have to worry about running out of dust on the dashboard to take notes.
Please be safe.
And so we'll break all of these down. But before we do, again, did these 5 entry points, same question I asked you before, did they just kind of download to you, or did they bubble up after you began to play with this idea of the law of zero?
Yeah, it was another download. I was trying to figure out what is zero. I was having a really difficult time answering that question and putting that into words. And I thought, well, there has to be a way that we control this thing. Like, how do we do it? And then boom, 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 they just fell out of the sky and into my brain and into my fingertips and onto the screen of my computer.
Yeah. Very cool.
That's how it happened. Mark my words.
Yeah.
I believe you.
Yeah. And it's interesting, as it downloaded, then you began to kind of go backwards and unpack some things. Like a lot of people here within the last couple of decades have done a lot with the law of attraction, and they know about the law of attraction, right? How does zero relate to the law of attraction that a lot of people know about?
Well, it's the law of attraction is just the tip of the iceberg to what zero is. So if you were to look at the 5 entry points, the law of attraction is the find awareness, secure alignment. Because, think about it, if we're creating a vision board, you want to be aware of what you want. You want that new house, you want the new job, you want that, fairy tale relationship. You clip that out of the magazines, put it on your vision board. And then you get into that helps you get into an alignment with it, because now every day you are, looking at that and acting as if, which is engaging your power. Well, I was super good and still very good at manifesting things. My grandfather taught me the law of attraction before The Secret came out, when it was still kind of this very unknown thing.
Yeah.
Because he was a master of this, and I write a lot about my grandfather in the book.
You do. Hey, I want to hear more about this story, but I want to hear the whole story. So I got to get a break here. Let's start there when we come back, Chad. Can we do that?
Sounds good.
All right. The book is The Law of Zero. The journey to awakening your authentic self and unlocking your infinite power, taking control of your life. Chad Michael Hardy, our life strategist here on Strategies for Living. We'll be back. More to come, more to learn. You're going to see the difference. When you go to Azalea Cleaners, you'll hear about it too. Azalea Cleaners has been fine dry cleaning since 1958, plus laundry, alterations and repairs, comforters, wedding gown cleaning and restoration. You'll hear about it from your friends because they'll see it too. They'll notice the Azalea difference. Azalea is convenient. 732 Azalea Drive, 9220 Ellerby Road, and 9227 Mansfield Road. Plus, the front door of your home or business with Azalea's delivery on demand. Just text SETUP to 249-8283, and Azalea will pick up your clothes and deliver them back clean and fresh to you. You can't get closer than that. That's the Azalea difference. You'll notice it right away. Others will too. The Azalea difference. Fine dry cleaning since 1958. Text SETUP to 249-8283 and get the Azalea difference. AzaleaCleaners.com.
Hi, this is Jay Merle for Pintail Roofing. Let's talk about quality. When you hire Pintail to build your roof, here's what you can expect. Quality and quality control are the most important concerns for us at Pintail, and you need to know that Pintail stands tall with swift and professional performance on any warranty call. This is our most important policy. And remember, we're your neighbors. We'll be here for you for the long haul. Our family's lived here for over 100 years, and we aren't going anywhere. On the commercial side of Pintail's business, our fluid-applied roofing solutions can save thousands of dollars over conventional commercial roofing options. Call Pintail at 226-ROOF for a free inspection of your home or commercial building. That's 226-7663. Pintail Roofing. What's the condition of your roof?
Facing the same old problems day to day makes you wanna holler, get away. Looking for the road that'll get me there. Looking for hope and peace to spare. Looking for strategies for living radio.
Looking for those strategies, and you found them right here on Strategies for Living. Lauren Leon McMillan, David McMillan with Chad Michael Hardy, the author of The Law of Zero today. You got to get this book, folks, Law of Zero. And again, Chad, remind us of the website.
Yes, lawofzerobook.com.
All right. You can point to the place that you like to buy books and check it out. Your grandfather, we were talking about at the end of the last segment. I had to stop and we had to pay some bills, but your grandfather sounds like a neat dude. He was talking about the law of attraction way even before The Secret came out and shared it with all of us.
Yes, so I was very familiar with the idea of using your mind to, manifest the things that you want. And so I became very good at this.
Yeah.
And I realized as I was kind of downloading the 5 entry points to the law of zero, that the top 3 are, that's the law of attraction: find awareness, secure alignment, and engage your power.
Yeah.
And you have to do those 3 things in order to manifest the things that you want in life. It's not just wishful thinking. You got to engage your power and do the work. So I would create these great things in my life, and then they would just disappear once I got them. I'm like, or I would get them and I still felt unsatisfied. I was 25 years old. I built a brand new house on the hill outside of Salt Lake City. What 25-year-old does that? And I moved in this house, and I never was more miserable and lonely and just so out of alignment. And I'm like, why? I manifested this awesome house. Why am I so unhappy? And I realized, especially as I'm writing this book, that it's the stuff underneath the surface that we got to work on. That's the hard stuff that really makes us whole and complete. And so the 2 entry points that are under the surface are take ownership and release to receive. And when I say take ownership, I mean you have to take ownership of everything in your life, the good and the bad. And this includes times in our lives when we truly were victimized, like when we're children. A lot of trauma happens to us when we're kids. And, there's a lot of kids who've been abused. I was one of them.
Right.
And we have to take ownership of the fact that is, that's your story. That's my story. That happened to me. It sucks. I didn't ask for that.
Right.
But it's still my story, and it's my life to clean up.
Right.
So once you take ownership of it, you can now take action, which is to release it. You release the parts of our lives that no longer serve us, if it be trauma, something that happened to us, a belief system. We release it, and then we can receive what it is up above the surface that we are wanting, the stuff that we're trying to get in alignment with. And so if we're unwilling to do that, really heart-wrenching stuff, it's not fun. It's painful.
So it
to
sounds,
look under the hood.
So it sounds like of the 5 entry points, we're finding awareness, securing alignment, taking ownership, releasing to receive, and engaging power. What it's sounding like to me, I'm not sure I've got this correct, but listening to you, it sounds like, okay, fundamental. Not that one is more important than another, but the fundamental is taking ownership and releasing.
Yes, that's correct. Taking ownership and releasing to receive are absolutely fundamental to open the portal to zero. And the thing is, when we get clear on what it is that we want, or get clear on the things in our lives that are lowercase truths that aren't real, and we're still not receiving what we desire, we have to go back to awareness and go okay, where in my human story code is there a block? What do I still need to take ownership of and release? So anytime we're working towards a goal and we're just not getting it, it's because one of the entry points is still clogged.
Yeah.
So we need to go spend some time and figure out what it is. And you spend enough time in awareness, and if you're truly open to listening to your natural knowing, you're going to get the answer. You may not get it right away, but eventually you just got to keep it open, and you'll get to it. And then a lot of times we might be aware of it, but we're just unwilling to release it.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
Well, when we talk about release, what keeps coming in my mind is that's a form of forgiveness. That's forgiveness.
And grief.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It is forgiveness. Yes.
So,
and
you talk about the engage power as an entry point. So that entry point, is that the big shift that we can feel, that power?
That is doing the work. That is actually putting one foot in front of the other and moving forward. So you could actually be engaging your power because you're going after that thing you want, that career, that dream life that you've put your eye on. But then as you're engaging your power, you're like, oh, why is everything a no? Why am I keep getting no after no after no? It's well, then that might open up the awareness portal. And maybe you realize, well, I'm out of alignment because in order for me to get that new job, I got to release the one that I'm in. I mean, there's a lot of things. It's not like these entry points happen in a chronological order.
Right.
They're kind of like a star. You could be engaging your power and you need to go over to take ownership. And while you're taking ownership, you're like, I need some more awareness of why I can't let this go. So the important thing you just have to know is you just need to green light all of them. So however you do it, but engaging your power is just pretty much, staking your claim, saying this is my life and I'm going to go after my life the way that I want to.
Yeah.
And things will start to unravel as you do that, especially as you start hitting roadblocks, and then you can start spending time in awareness and finding out why.
Is this law of zero, is it available to all? I mean, is there anybody that can't access law of zero?
It's available to everybody because it's working for everybody, regardless if you are intently creating what you want or not. When you're not, when you're not controlling it, it's controlling you. So you have to make a decision. Yeah. Do you want to live your life in autopilot, or do you want to get behind the driver's seat and take control and say, no, we're going to take a left now. I'm tired of going right.
Yeah. So for most of us, it's the tail that wags the dog, but we get to make a choice of whether we want to wag the tail or not.
Correct. Because it's working right now as we're even speaking. Zero is working for us.
Right.
Always, always, always.
Yeah, a great example of this is, have you ever had like a day where something just triggers you and you...
Oh, yeah.
And then next thing you know, like everything about that day just keeps avalanching bigger and bigger and bigger to this big Category 5 storm?
Yeah.
Well, that's
you go.
Because zero, we've caught a wave and zero is now creating more of that.
I got it.
And so the best thing to do when that happens is you got to seek shelter and you got to let that energy storm pass and emotionally detach yourself from it so that you can get to zero again and get back on the saddle.
Chad Michael Hardy, this is great stuff. And we've just barely scratched the surface today. You got to get the book, folks. Law of Zero, Chad Michael Hardy. We'll be back here on Strategies for Living.
From the bayou to your table, we're keeping it alive with flavors from the family, passed down to survive. The Godfather's here with a twist in the tail. Alligator Italian sausage, and it sure won't fail. It's the boss of the bayou, a taste you can't refuse. Italian tradition, Cajun infused. Godfather sausage, bold and true. The Padres bringing the bayou to you.
Get the Godfather, Alligator Italian Sausage, only at Fertitta's Delicatessen, 1124 Fairfield Avenue in Shreveport. Pick up a muffy while you're there. The Godfather, Alligator Italian Sausage. It's a taste you can't refuse. Sold only at Fertitta's, 1124 Fairfield Avenue in Shreveport. Dealing with stress, pain, feel like you're running out of options? When your life is balanced, wellness is a given. True wellness is holistic. It's about the mind, the body, and the spirit, all in balance. Now, there's a place right here in Shreveport that's all about helping us achieve peak mental, emotional, and physical health. The Balanced Life, 117 Kings Highway, right next door to Strawn's. Come see and feel the difference getting your life in balance can be. Many of your friends and neighbors have already learned the difference less stress and pain mean in their lives. You can book a discovery session right now online, thebalancedlife.us. All you've got to lose is stress, pain, or maybe both. Come see and feel for yourself the real difference balanced wellness makes. The Balanced Life Wellness Center, 117 Kings Highway in Shreveport, next door to Strawn's, thebalancedlife.us. And we're back here on Strategies for Living. Lauren Leon McMillan, David McMillan with Chad Michael Hardy today. The book is The Law of Zero, and you can find it where you buy books, lawofzerobook.com. thought-provoking.com. Did I remember that right?
You got it perfectly.
All right. What do you want to leave? What do you want to leave? You got about a minute here. What do you want to leave us with, Chad Michael Hardy?
Well, the law of zero is accessible to everybody, but it asks just of one thing,
Okay.
and that's your will. You have to be willing to do the work, to uncover the things that are a little uncomfortable for us, to take ownership of them and release the things that are no longer in alignment with your authentic true self.
Yeah.
And I also want to leave everybody with a promise that if you do this, if you do the work, that miracles will happen.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Well, and I appreciate you bringing forth law of zero,
Into
letting
our awareness.
letting it come through you, and being courageous enough to illustrate it with stories from your own life. Very powerful. I hope we can come back and do this again, Chad Michael Hardy.
Anytime. All I want to do is talk about zero. It's become my passion project. So
I love it.
I'm here for it.
I love it. All right. In the meantime, folks, you can continue the conversation we started today with Chad Michael Hardy by going and picking up a copy of Law of Zero, and I hope you will. Chad Michael Hardy. Folks, thank you. Thank you for tuning in today to Strategies for Living. Thank you for being here with us. We do Strategies for Living each and every day for you, and we can do it because of our wonderful sponsors, the Robinson Film Center, and Azalea Cleaners, and Pintail Roofing, and Learning RX, and the Balanced Life Wellness Center, and Fertitta's Delicatessen, home of the Godfather, alligator Italian sausage, and some pretty doggone good muffies, too. If today were the last day of your life, you only had one more phone call that you could make, who is it that you'd call? And what is it that you'd say? And why are you waiting? Make the call. For Lauren Leon McMillan and for Chad Michael Hardy, I'm David McMillan. See you next time, right here on Strategies for Living.